9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Nikki Haley has dropped out of the presidential race. So, I normally, in a normal scenario, couldn't imagine myself interrupting the show for Nikki Haley. But I feel like, do you think we should cover this thing live?
I mean, come on. We've done it up to this point. We gotta see this through.
All right, hold on. Wait 1 second. Let's get this live. Okay, hang on. Can you give me some audio? All right, perfect. Let's hear what she has to say.
Go on and tell me a river. Go on and just
Oh, I'm sorry. I think that was the ad. Hold on. Let me skip the ad. All right, can we get it live now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, perfect.
Votes of those in our party and beyond it who did not support him. And I hope he does that. At its best, politics is about bringing people into your cause, not turning them away. And our conservative cause badly needs more people. This is now his time for choosing. I end my campaign with them to all Americans, but especially to so many of the women and girls out there who put their faith in our campaign. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for God will be with you wherever you go. In this campaign, I have seen our country's greatness. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, America. God bless you.
That's so weird that they're playing her out with that song.
That's bizarre.
It's a weird choice.
She always had weird marketing, so.
It must be the same social team. I mean, she got DC in Vermont.
Woo!
I was going to make a hard stance today against Vermont syrup, too. I said this during the Amigos. I had alternatives ready to go. We were going to boycott the state.
But now that she's running, you're going to give them some grace? Or now that she's dropped out?
I'm still mad at Vermont.
Gotcha. Still mulling over consequences.
Well, we'll figure out what we're going to do about Vermont at a later date. Nikki Haley.
Wow, that was a short speech. We missed the first 2 minutes of it or so, but that was not even 5 minutes.
Well,
Not much to say.
It's not as bad as the Hillary non-speech. You know what I mean? Where they have the glass ceiling and everything ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, geez, I don't know how to follow that. How do you follow a moment in history? You know what I mean?
It was a moment.
What did we just witness?
An epic, long, drawn-out failure.
Wasn't she just saying that the convention's not until July? And that there's plenty of time? So weird.
Wonder what she's thinking about that pledge.
Oh my gosh. Well, she got absolutely trounced last night. Trounced. A lot of people on the Members Nutrition Super Text line agreeing with me. Something needs to be done about Vermont. Anne actually said stay away from Vermont syrup.
All right. The boycott begins.
We're looking at you, Ben and Jerry's. I mean, we already banned Ben and Jerry's, right?
Yeah, I think that's,
6298 says Cracker Barrel has good syrup. I want to point out that we're anecdotally the number one radio show for Kentucky syrup.
Oh,
makers,
yeah.
Which has been proven.
They get a little kick in theirs, too.
Yeah, time and time again, anecdotally. So
the anecdotes really come through for this show, you know? At the end of the day, we can rely on our anecdotal
So
evidence.
our event last night, first of all, everybody missed you.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry.
Heard
It was packed.
The demand for Mac Maury in there was palpable. But I will say this. Our show has the best listeners because not only were they looking for you, they were looking for Todd.
Yes, Todd.
They were looking for Todd, and they were making jokes that Todd's probably going to show up late.
That is perfect.
And they were looking for Dave in Hendersonville, but they didn't hear any beeping, so they knew he wasn't.
So they there.
Knew he probably wasn't there.
Oh, I love that. That's so good.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah, we missed you last night.
Yeah, I heard it was a great time. Heard you guys had a lot of fun. Good turnout.
We did.
Good results.
Yeah, we were roasting you.
And that would have happened whether I was present or not. So,
but it would have been better if you were there.
You're right. It would have been better if I could have witnessed it.
It would have been better if you were there. Everybody said, "Oh, Mac Maury's got a fiance now. He can't get out of the house." I'm like, I feel like obligated to cover for you. I'm like, he's doing the news back at the station. They're like, nah, it's his fiance.
No, yeah.
So, Hannah was in the crosshairs.
Yeah, wow.
So then, of course, I agree with them, blamed Hannah, and then I went. That's what I did. Thank you for everybody coming out last night to Nashville Palace. We have the best, smartest listeners around. The one guy that said he was going to show up that was a Nikki Haley supporter, I didn't see him.
Oh, darn.
What was his name? Was it Ralph Sampson?
Sounds maybe right.
I want to talk to Sampson.
Colin Sampson, how you doing? Is that surge more delayed?
Is the surge in?
Did I miss it?
Is the surge in? You say you got to worry about the surge. So let me know. 615-737-9986. Call us in. What are your reactions from last night? Are you shocked? Probably not. I mean, Trump just came in and did what Trump does. Absolutely crushed every state but Vermont. Something's going to be done about them. We'll figure that out. Let's give them to Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You guys share a border anyway. What's the oh, come on, I should know this. It's Alberta is the more conservative. Let's make a trade.
Oh, okay, nice.
What do
Yeah,
you think about
Alberta for Vermont.
Alberta for Vermont. Who says no in that deal? You know what I mean?
We'll throw in a first round pick. We'll get this done.
Some cash considerations. But yeah, I mean, it was fantastic last night. And then Trump gets out there. He goes to do his victory speech, and he doesn't bring up Nikki Haley at all. You know, Brian Wilson was talking yesterday, and he said, this was bound to happen. Nikki didn't have any advertising scheduled. She didn't have any events scheduled. And Trump gets out there, and for his victory speech, he pivots, and he moves on to the general. He doesn't even acknowledge Nikki Haley at all. So we're on to November. Remember the 5th of November. It is going to be a very, very important day in American history.
We're going to take it and we're going to make it like it should be, respected. Right now, we're not respected. Right now, our country is known as a joke.
Yep, and it's because of the senior citizen in the White House. That's why we are looked at as a joke. Of course, as this speech is airing, MSNBC decided to cut away from it again. They cut away from Trump to say, yeah, we can't let him talk. That's dangerous to democracy.
Constantly, in terms of the balance between allowing somebody to knowingly lie on your air about things they've lied about before and you can predict they are going to lie about. And so therefore it is.
She's like talking about every host on MSNBC in the history of MSNBC.
It's irresponsible to allow them to do that.
Yet she's sitting there next to Joy Reid, Rachel Maddow.
It's a balance between knowing that that's irresponsible to broadcast and also knowing that as the soon-to-be de facto nominee of the Republican Party, this is not only the man who is likely to be the Republican candidate for president, but this is the way he's running.
Well, here's how we'll balance it.
Yeah.
Why don't we fact check the hell out of him?
Yes, and we do that after the fact, and that is the best remedy that we've got. It does not fix the fact that we broadcast it.
But
Oh, it doesn't fix that.
Honestly,
stunning that
It can't fix that, right? So that's how I feel about them. That's how I feel about them. And Joy Reid, Joy Reid's there, Rachel Maddow's there, and they last night, as all this is going on, MSNBC was still shilling for Nikki Haley. Did you know that? They still wanted Nikki Haley to continue. Nope, and now she doesn't have a job doing this either. How can we let them broadcast these false things? MSNBC was really in rare form last night because Trump cleaned up. They weren't happy about it. And can you blame them? Can you blame them? The exit polling was fascinating as well. Did you know 85% of voters in North Carolina, Republican voters, out of Haley voters, approve of Joe Biden as president? Yep. That's a North Carolina CNN exit poll on Super Tuesday. Sorry, 16% of Republican voters approved of Joe Biden as president. Among those, 83% supported Nikki Haley. So the Nikki Haley crowd likes Joe Biden.
Is going to go, yeah.
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 Shocker. That's shocking. Haley has spent more than $114 million during her campaign. $114 million to lose to Trump. And at one point, none of the above.
That's the highlight.
That is...
That was the peak.
She should have dropped out then.
Yeah. That should have been the telltale sign.
Oh, my gosh. She spent more than $115 million. More than $114 million. Unbelievable. More than 75% of the money she raised during her campaign was from large donors. Democrat donors. She invested $0 in her own campaign. She just accepted donations from Democrats. Of course, including one of the most famous, Reid Hoffman, the Epstein Island visiting co-founder of LinkedIn. So, Nikki Haley's done. We all saw this coming. It just should have happened a lot sooner. It is 9:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris And here from my friends at Paul Winkler Inc. You know Paul. He's been doing his show, the Investor Coaching Show, for over 20 years. It runs every Saturday here on WTN from 3 to 6. But you may not know that before he started the show, he spent time studying under an economist who went on to win a Nobel Prize. That's his background. That's where he kind of cut his teeth. That's pretty cool. He's also an avid collector of financial planning designations. He has up to 8 now. And you probably know this as well because we talk about it all the time. My wife and I work with Paul. I heard him on WTN before I started working here, and listening to his radio show is why when I got the job here, I wanted to work with Paul. Just when you hear him talk, you know he knows what he's talking about. And then when you meet him, he's the same guy that you hear on the air. Plus, his team hold themselves to the highest level of fiduciary status. And as such, I have to tell you that I get paid when I do these commercials. That's the truth. But the reason I really wanted to work with him is because I knew they always had my best interest in heart. And one of the reasons you can be sure that they'll have your best interest in heart is that none of his team works on commission. I'll say it again. They don't work on commission. Meaning, when they give you advice for your financial future, it is for your financial future and no one else's. Because nothing's done on commission. But they do like to educate you. They've done that for me. And it helps to make sure that you don't get that uneasy feeling of blind trust. They'll look at your whole financial picture, then help you make decisions for you. Set up a 15-minute phone call today. You won't be sorry you did it. All you have to do is go to the website, paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com.
Got a crash in the way near the airport. It is going to be 40 westbound, the right shoulder blocked right there at Donaldson Pike. And now that it is official, former President Trump has picked up a key endorsement out of Tennessee. We'll tell you about it at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right. Max says to me during the break, he says, hey, give it a little time to breathe between you and Ken because I got something for you.
It's a celebration, man. Come on. You've been waiting for this.
I've been waiting. Rocco on the Members Nutrition Super Text line said of Haley during her concession speech that she looked more like the president of an HOA, not the USA. Savage.
God, that is so savage.
What a savage.
Inaccurate.
Brad wants. People are really getting into this maple syrup debate.
You've started something. I don't think you know what you've begun.
Brad on the Members Nutrition text line said, I have several fresh jugs of Michigan maple syrup you guys can have. It's better than Neocon Vermont syrup. Nobody wants Neocon syrup. And quite a few people liked her walkout song.
Oh, yeah. Her walkout song? Yeah.
It was fire. Odd choice.
Yeah, still weird from her marketing team.
I don't understand why that was why her team chose that.
But that was consistent, right? Just the branding issues. So
consistent throughout the whole campaign. They don't know how to use social media and they didn't understand branding. So
oh my. That was her big issue. If it weren't for the bad branding, I mean, the surge was there.
Yeah, it's somebody on the super text line. Oh man, I wish I could find it. You guys are funny today. Somebody said the primary served as a surge protector.
That's good.
It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Here's Mr. Weaver.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Election 2024. Nikki Haley in her home state of South Carolina just made it official.
Although I will no longer be a candidate, I will not stop using my voice for the things I believe in.
Haley only picked up 2 wins in the primary, D.C. and Vermont. She did not endorse former President Trump or anyone else, for that matter, yet. Now, here in Tennessee, Governor Bill Lee's endorsing former President Donald Trump. Lee also serves as the chair of the Republican Governors Association. News 2 says he was waiting to back a candidate, but now that it's clear, he is. Tennessee, by the way, one of 15 states choosing their presidential candidate on Super Tuesday. Trump with a sweeping victory, nearly 447,000 votes. And here in Nashville, Fox 17 says a bill to restrict vehicle booting and increase towing regulations advancing in the General Assembly. Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson's legislation makes it illegal for unlicensed people to boot vehicles, and it caps the fee to remove a boot from a vehicle at $75. That bill's headed to the full Senate floor. And that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey everybody, Dan Mandis here. Got my first shipment of emergency food from My Patriot Supply. Gonna make these pancakes. Now you prepare and cook them just like regular pancakes. But thanks to this special packaging, they last for 25 years. So when things go wrong, you are eating right with My Patriot Supply. And yes, they taste great. Now every week, I'm going to introduce you to different food. My Patriot Supply is America's most trusted supplier of emergency food. Head on over to my website, preparewithmandis.com, right now and see all the different foods that they have and all the great specials as well. That's preparewithmandis.com. Be prepared for anything with My Patriot Supply and preparewithmandis.com.
So we're on to November 5th. It's unbelievable. Mitch McConnell coming out and endorsing not Joe Biden, geez. That would be a very Mitch McConnell thing to do, but he came out and endorsed Trump. All things trending Trump. Got a couple texts on the Members Nutrition Super Text line wondering, will the debates even happen? Can Joe bring no cards? I mean, seriously. Did you see him? State of the Union's tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
He posted this picture on Twitter saying, getting ready. Prep is in. Bro, he is using size 24 font on his State of the Union speech. Not a joke. Not a joke.
Not a joke.
This is the truth. Got to be size 24.
Oh, that's good.
It had a whole page where he's like, Madam Speaker, military generals.
Guarantee you, like, his iMessages are set up like your 80-year-old grandparents are, where it's like 2 words on the screen and you just have to scroll to see like the whole 6-word text.
Oh my gosh. I think you're giving him a lot of credit.
You're right.
You're assuming he texts. He doesn't text.
You're right. You're right.
Oh my gosh. A couple people on the Members Nutrition text line saying, I thought Nikki Haley was surging. She is.
Yeah, wait. She is.
That hasn't changed.
Yeah, come on. Whoa.
That hasn't changed.
Surge is in full go.
That hasn't changed. Our friend Todd's here. He said this will be the shortest State of the Union speech in history. Yep. Brian Wilson yesterday at our event. I know not everybody can listen to the whole thing. Brian is predicting that he trips and falls on his way up to the podium.
Oh my gosh.
It's even funnier to hear Brian say it.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can figure. Yeah, I'm excited. I hope he says that later. I want to hear that.
Bring it up.
Yeah. I need to hear that prediction.
Bring it up. Oh my gosh, it is going to be something.
Yeah, so that's tomorrow, right? That's what you said, tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow.
It's exciting.
So there were rumors that Trump should do the rebuttal for the Republicans, and he's not going to. I think that was a missed opportunity.
The rebuttal.
So after the State of the Union, you have somebody the opposing party
Okay,
give the
gotcha.
speech.
And is that normally just
It's
who
like,
is that normally?
Usually it's like an up-and-coming Democrat, or the past couple of years because it would be Trump.
Okay,
or
gotcha.
It's an
So it'd be
up-and-coming Republican. I can't remember who did it last year. The only one that I really remember was it Joe Kennedy, the Kennedy kid, because he had the spittle coming out of his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do remember the
Spittlegate?
spittle. Yes, Spittlegate.
So they're usually pretty forgetful, is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. You're right. Younger, up-and-coming.
What a moment it would have been if they gave it to Trump.
Wow. That would have been nuts.
Because I'm not sure that the Biden campaign goes through with debates. What benefit would that be to them? I think the American people deserve the debates, but I think that the Biden campaign is going to have to be dragged there kicking and screaming. Do you know what I mean?
I'm definitely on board for debates. I think that is something that the American people deserve. And I was on board for that in the Republican primaries as well, including Trump. But that I get why he didn't. But yeah, I definitely think everyone should see every candidate debate each other. Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't know. I mean,
but when you're middle from the middle,
that's going to be tough.
It's hard to compete with middle from the middle.
it's working.
It's not. It's not. So the GOP response is going to be from Katie Britt this year, Alabama senator.
Gotcha. Young and up and comer, I assume.
She's younger, yeah.
Cool.
So she's going to give the GOP response. She endorsed Trump, was sworn into office last year, first woman elected to the Senate from Alabama, 42, the youngest Republican woman ever elected to the Senate. So yeah, she checks all those boxes.
Yeah, gotcha.
Young, up and comer. So she'll do a good job.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Maybe they didn't want Trump to do it because the Haley surge was still in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Would have been a little disrespectful.
Yeah. You got to
mid-surge. Come on.
You have to respect the surge. So Trump had endorsed Katie Britt in the 2022 Alabama Senate primary. It was a flip after he first endorsed Rep. Mo Brooks, and she's seen as a rising star in the Republican Party, and her name has been tossed around as a potential vice presidential pick, which I had not heard.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that either.
So this is NBC, so it's fake news.
If she were to kill it in this speech, could you see? I mean,
no.
Yeah, probably not.
Plus, like, what does tossed around even mean? You know what
tossed
I mean?
around.
It's such a loose thing. I could be like, hey, what do you think about Katie Britt? Like, nah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, they tossed it around.
Tossed it around. I mean, Candace Owens has been tossed around in the show. We know that's not happening.
No,
yeah.
Tucker Carlson has been tossed around.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I would love it.
I know you'd love it.
I would love it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, 5281 on the Members Nutrition Super Text line. I want to hear what you think about this, Chris. I get why Trump didn't debate in the primaries. However, that's going to give Biden an easy out. There will be no debates, and there's not a lot the Republicans can say because Trump didn't debate. Trump 2024.
I just think it's different than the presidential. Plus, let's be honest, okay? Yes, Trump is now the last man standing. He's the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party. But guys, he has been the presumptive nominee since Joe Biden was sworn in. With all of the questions of 2020, this was predetermined. What we're looking at right now is inevitability. This was inevitable. This is what always frustrated me about the short-sightedness of Republicans going after him. Now, I understand a guy like Vivek or even Tim Scott throwing their hat in the ring, trying to get a little bit more of a name on a national stage, but like DeSantis should have waited. Haley shouldn't have done any of that. You know what I mean?
DeSantis, wait some time.
Like, DeSantis should have waited till 2028. Yeah. And I think that he probably has a good chance in 28. Realistically. He needs to fix some of the quirks. And maybe he did this so that way he can treat this run as a learning experience and change things for the better. Hopefully.
Yeah, just take some, some social classes. I don't even know. Just get a little bit more comfortable. He's got 4 years to kind of figure that out.
He's got great policy, but he's awkward in so many ways.
No stage presence.
And it's I hate it that it's the fact, but energy and how you look and how you carry yourself is a huge part of this.
Yeah. However right or wrong that is, it is.
Yep. You can't get around it.
Yep.
So, I mean, listen, this Trump being the nominee, inevitable. Who is his vice president pick? We talked about it last night. I think smart money is Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Could see that.
I think she would be great. Also, would hate to lose her as governor of Arkansas. This is one of the things that's the toughest for me. A lot of the people that are in play, I don't want to lose them where they are. Like Kristi Noem, why would you want to lose her as governor of South Dakota? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need strong governors. If we've learned anything, especially with what's been going on in Texas, we need strong governors in place. So why do we want to lose any of those strong governors? J.D. Vance is great, senator out of Ohio. He's one of my sleeper picks. I don't want to lose him in the Senate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anybody that we think is good enough to elevate to that VP status would be a loss where they are.
So it's almost like, do you pick maybe what would be a weaker VP pick, but keep the Senate stronger?
Or do you take Vivek?
Yeah. Don't lose anything.
You don't lose anything, and you gain a guy that's a fighter. Everybody agrees Vivek deserves some spot in the administration.
Oh, he'll have a spot.
100%.
If yeah.
But where? And I've been tossing this around, especially after we talked yesterday at our event at the Nashville Palace. All of the names that get tossed around, I don't want to lose them where they are. So who's the strongest pick that we won't lose a great governor or senator?
I don't know.
Don't say it.
You making a comeback.
Wouldn't that be a redemption arc?
Yeah, I think that's a long shot. Yeah. Candace Owens has a better chance.
I think Nikki Haley has a better chance than Mike Pence. Are you kidding me?
Sorry, I derailed that. My fault.
I mean, Tim. A lot of people point to Tim Scott.
Yeah. Yep.
Black pants. What?
Is that what they're calling him?
I did. I coined that.
I
Last
coined
night.
that. Yeah, nice.
I coined that last night. He's got still the same demeanor as Pence. Smart guy, great, but I don't know, man.
5815 members nutrition super text. Do you think RFK Jr. would be a good pick for VP?
No, he's too far left. Like the stuff I like about RFK, we've already gone down that road. Like there's things that we agree with him. Ending forever wars, intelligence agencies being reformed, not being in with the medical industrial complex. But then that's kind of where our similarities end. 7170 said Pompeo would be a good VP choice. Didn't he try and kill Julian Assange while he was held up in an embassy? Or at least float the idea?
Tossed it around.
Tossed it around.
Tossed it around.
They tossed it around.
Ben Carson from 3826.
Ben Carson is another guy. Super smart. I think he's too low energy. 4209 said Carrie Lake. Actually, Carrie Lake is going... I am pretty sure she's going to win that Senate seat in Arizona because Kyrsten Sinema just dropped out. She was like the moderate. And so it's Carrie Lake versus a Democrat. I don't think you would want to lose Carrie Lake in Arizona. Like, especially now, being a border state that is really at the epicenter of the crisis because Texas has been taking its own action. We need as many strong Republicans in Arizona as we can get. Gene says Cookie Monster.
That's the best one I've heard.
If there's anybody that could fix shrinkflation, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he'd match Trump's energy. He'd be good.
He would. He would match Trump's energies. I don't think he would overshadow him. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I think actually he's the guy for the job. Plus he's already under Joe Biden's skin for calling him out for the shrinkflation. That's real, by the way, not AI. He's a puppet, Joe.
There was like some pity laughs.
Also, am I going down a rabbit hole to be like, is there a Sesame Street collusion angle here?
Oh gosh.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
PBS. Who funds PBS? Oh, the government.
Stop this.
Weird.
Don't do this.
Weird. Is Cookie Monster on the take? Are they paying him in chocolate chip? People demand answers. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, let me ask you a question. It's Chris Hand from my friends at membersnutrition.com. The question is, what is in your body? Let's face it. It's not good. It's not good. There's toxins building up in your body, and the toxins are suppressing your immune system and your ability to absorb nutrients and fight illness, and they're coming from everything. They're coming from stress in your daily life. They're coming from the air you breathe. The toxins are in the food you eat. It's processed garbage, and that excess waste is building up in your body over time, causing you to age prematurely, feel bloated, feel gross, feel sluggish. Well, what if I told you there's a way you can essentially change your body's oil? There is, and you can experience that cleanse with Daily Defense's Youthful Cleanse, available now at membersnutrition.com. It's a way for you to take control of your health and take control of your life with a cleanse product that is made in the USA. This supplement is for optimal digestive health. Daily Defense Youthful Cleanse. I've done it a couple times myself. It works. I can promise you that. Plus, these supplements are made in the USA. You cannot say that with other cleanse supplements that you'll buy on store shelves at big box brand stores. But you can say that for everything at membersnutrition.com. It's made in the USA, not overseas. Members Nutrition believes in empowering individuals to take charge of their health and well-being every day. And their journey began with a vision to create natural and effective supplements that address common health concerns and provide simple and accessible solutions to all that are made right here in America. I highly recommend the Daily Defense Youthful Cleanse at membersnutrition.com. It'll make you feel great, and they have more than just that at membersnutrition.com. So if you're already into vitamins and supplements, get some stuff that's made in the USA, and you can find it at membersnutrition.com.
Haley out. McConnell says who he wants. What's Joe Biden doing? And daylight saving time and its impact on health. Details at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Not a fan of daylight savings time.
Me either.
I'm just going to get in front of that one.
Don't like it.
Same.
I'm going to be upset about it for a good 4, maybe 5 days.
Yeah, I'm going to stop eating syrup.
Let's blame Vermont. Can we blame Vermont for that too?
Yes.
Actually, I'm going to have some of that Vermont syrup now that you guys have been talking about it.
Don't do it, Ken.
It must be good.
Don't. We're boycotting it.
Oh, okay.
All right. Appreciate it.
I'll go for some of that Kentucky syrup. Lots of it, maybe 3 fingers.
All right, perfect. That's approved currently. You never know what might get boycotted next. I'm just saying. Hey, on the way, there was other things on the ballot last night. And I want to touch on some of the key takeaways from San Francisco and North Carolina. 2 coasts, wild results. And we got it all breaking down for you coming up after Ken Weaver's news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ten o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got a crash. It is on the eastern split, 40 westbound at I-24 East, the right shoulder blocked. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Election 2024, now it's official. Nikki Haley is out.
In all likelihood, Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee when our party convention meets in July. I congratulate him and wish him well.
And no endorsement yet, but Trump does have the endorsement of top Senate Republican Mitch McConnell, with whom he's publicly feuded. McConnell saying this morning it's time for the GOP to go on sustained offense against President Biden, whom Karen Travers says it's already mining for Haley supporters.
President Biden, in a statement, commends Nikki Haley, saying it takes a lot of courage to run for president, and she was, quote, willing to speak the truth about Trump. The president said there's a place for Haley's supporters in his campaign, writing, quote, I know there's a lot we won't agree on, but he says on things like preserving American democracy, treating each other with decency and respect, and preserving NATO, quote, I hope and believe we can find common ground. Mr. Biden called this, quote, no ordinary election, and says the stakes for the country couldn't be higher.
Yeah, Trump, meanwhile, spent the morning at his Palm Beach golf club, his sources say in a jubilant mood. Daylight saving time starts Sunday with this lost hour of shut-eye, and a new study finds lack of sleep raises the risk of type 2 diabetes, increasing 41% in people who only got 3 to 4 hours. ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton on the mechanisms at work.
Our metabolism changes, increasing risk of insulin insensitivity, increasing our blood glucose, and those are the backbones of type 2 diabetes. So that is probably why this association exists. But just to be clear, this is an association, not a cause and effect, but it does add to the volume of research that shows us that sleep and health are closely tied together.
Yeah, those who had less than 6 hours of sleep had an increased risk of type 2 diabetes by approximately 16%. And that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Well, that rain is going to create an opportunity for you, or maybe some dread. I mean, is water getting into your basement or your crawl space? If that's the case, then you need to call my friends at USS, United Structural Systems. Hey, it's Chris Hand for USS. This is the time of the year where the rain starts falling, and you know if you have a waterproofing need, and if you do, you need to talk to the guys at USS. Now, maybe you don't see the telltale signs like wet basement walls or cracks in your basement floor, but maybe there's a chance you haven't been down in your crawl space in a while, and if you haven't, after the rain comes and goes, poke your head down there and see if you notice something like standing water. If you do, that's your house trying to tell you something, and you should give the guys at USS a call to take a look. They are your waterproofing experts when it comes to your basement and crawl space, and they have 25,000 satisfied customers to back them up. They'll come to your house, give you a unique plan of action for your home, and they won't leave until the job is done and you're satisfied. Plus, the warranty that they'll give you is a lifetime warranty, and it stays with the house. It doesn't leave if you move. So if you have waterproofing needs in your basement or crawl space, the only people to call are my friends at USS, 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855, or online at USSTN.com. .05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. So there was other stuff happening last night besides, Vermont just absolutely disappointing us. Many other. Yeah, Vermont. First Ben and Jerry's, now this. So there were other races, down ticket races on some ballots across the country. I don't know. Where do you guys want to start? I had two big takeaways. North Carolina and San Francisco. So do we start with left coast or best coast?
Start with the left coast.
All right, let's start with left coast.
Save best for last.
All right. Well, now I have to go back to my nose.
No.
I thought we were going to go with... Who wants to start in California?
Well, you can go with the best first.
Well, no, now I have to because you chose that. I don't know why anybody would pick California first.
You can tell we don't prep this on the air.
So, I didn't. Just like a rule of thumb, like if you tell somebody to choose something, they don't normally pick California.
It's true. Threw a curveball on you.
You did. All right. So the city is San Francisco, and voters in San Francisco last night passed ballot measures on Super Tuesday that expanded police powers. What? Required drug screening for welfare recipients. What? And reduced restrictions on commercial real estate development, a massive defeat for the left. San Francisco, the city where you can use drugs in the street unless a Chinese dictator is coming to town, and you're allowed to poop openly wherever you choose, has decided that they want more police power and required drug screening for welfare recipients. Unbelievable. The San Francisco Chronicle declared boldly in a front page headline today, progressivism is out for now. And voters make it clear San Francisco can no longer be called a progressive city. Yikes. It has got to be even worse than what we think in San Francisco when the leftists that haven't fled yet are now voting for more police powers and drug tests for welfare recipients. San Francisco Chronicle reported, for now at least, San Francisco can no longer be called a progressive city. Not after the voters approved ballot measures Tuesday to loosen restrictions on the police and screen welfare recipients for drugs. That's something that I know on the members' nutrition text line. We would like that in Tennessee as well. If you can do it in San Francisco, can we do it in Tennessee? Drug screening for welfare recipients. Unbelievable. Voters also backed a slate of moderates to run the local Democrat County Central Committee whose endorsements could reshape who was elected in San Francisco for years. 4 years ago, to put this in perspective, it was all progressives winning just about everything except for 2 seats. And it's not hard to see why voters react. San Francisco is a hellhole. That's San Francisco, where you are accosted when you go out to get groceries. So voters are reacting to that. They're reacting to the feces in the street, the wave of crime in the city, which honestly, a lot of cities went downhill after the Black Lives Matter Summer of Love in 2020. San Francisco had been going downhill for years. For years. So this was a problem before the defund the police movement. But the crime wave made things worse, made people flee the city, and it made local shops and businesses say, yeah, enough is enough. We're leaving too. So they voted for Measure E, which expands police powers and allows police to use drones and to install surveillance cameras. And that was leading as of Wednesday morning by a margin of nearly 60-40. Now, listen. I'm not a huge fan of surveillance cameras. Definitely not a huge fan of police using drones. But I think that when you look at this, when you zoom out and you see the tide turning, that's what we're celebrating here. The fact that they're giving the police the tools to get the job done, albeit you have progressives and leftists still in control of this city. So what does that look like down the road? Having drones and surveillance cameras put up, I don't know. We that's a different discussion for a different day. But seeing San Francisco voters say enough is enough with this crime is huge. They also voted for Measure F, which requires drug testing for those receiving public assistance benefits from the city. And that was leading by an even greater margin, according to Breitbart News, 63-37. That's huge. That's huge. Because in states like San Francisco, illegal aliens get public assistance benefits. I wonder if this is going to be expanded to the, what do they like to call them? Undocumented citizens. Newcomers. That's it. That's the new one. Newcomers. I wonder if the newcomers in San Francisco will be required to take the drug testing for public assistance benefits. Probably not. And there was only one police-related ballot measure that failed in San Francisco, and it was Measure B, which would have raised taxes to increase police staffing. I can understand why that failed. Taxes in San Francisco are already painfully high. Painfully high. But you're seeing voters in California say, enough is enough. And they're rebelling against the left. It's pretty cool to see. It is. They've had enough. They've had enough, which is pretty weird. Maybe they got a glimpse of what the city could look like when Xi Jinping visited. They were like, yeah, more of that, please, when it was clean and poop free. People like poop free cities. Shocker, right? It's the little things. It's the little things. All right, and then let's go back to the other coast. Since Mac wanted to start in California for some reason.
yeah, we end on the poop city, and now we go to the best. Save the best for last.
All right. I was planning on ending on poop city. So
really thrown you off.
It did. It threw me way off. All right, so hold on. I got to get my notes back open. All right. There was a Republican primary for governor last night in North Carolina. And so the Republican that won is Mark Robinson. And I have to tell you, this very well could be if he's elected, this could be the most based governor in the entire country. Okay? Take a note. The date is 3/6/2024. If Mark Robinson is elected, he may be the most based governor in the country. Are you ready to hear from Mark Robinson in his victory speech?
Yeah, I've got to hear him.
All right. It may be shocking. You sure you're ready?
I'm sitting down.
You weren't. You never were standing.
Come on.
Well, I'm just saying. It's not really a thing. All right, here's Mark Robinson.
Here's something else I'm not supposed to say. Ain't but two genders.
Yep. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? 5 seconds in, baby. 5 seconds in. Even his delivery.
That was so matter of fact.
His delivery is based. It took him 5 seconds to offend half the country.
Here's something else I'm not supposed to say. Ain't but two genders. Two genders. Ain't nothing but men and women.
Mark Robinson has to be stopped. That's what every Democrat strategist is saying.
Dangerous.
This morning, right-wing extremist. Ah!
And I can already see WRL out there. They licking their pencils right now, trying to write fierce as they can. Get every word of this here. Get every word of this. You can go to the doctor and get cut up. You can go down to the dress shop and get made up. You can go down there and get drugged up. But at the end of the day, you were just a drugged up, dressed up, made up, cut up, man or woman. You ain't changed what God put in you, that DNA. You can't transcend God's creation. I don't care how hard you try. The transgender movement in this country, if there's a movement in this country that is demonic and that is full of the spirit of Antichrist, it is the transgender movement.
That's Mark Robinson. He just won the Republican primary. He is going to be the guy running for governor in North Carolina. Get ready to see left-wing media attack this man relentlessly. Relentlessly.
It's time for grown-ups and time for Christians to start standing up and being unafraid to tell the truth. Come after me if you want to. I don't care. You want my head? Here it is right here. Come on, come get it. I don't care because it's time for us to stand up. And I'm not afraid to stand up and tell the truth about that issue.
I love it. He said, you want my head? He started patting his own head. He said, come get it. Come get it. I'm not afraid. And listen, as Christians, we are called to not be afraid in the face of this kind of stuff. What they're pushing on kids is absolutely demonic. There's no debate about that.
They're dragging our kids down into the pit of hell, trying to teach them that mess in our schools. Tell you like this, that ain't got no place at no school. 2 plus 2 don't equal transgender. It equals 4. You need to get back to teaching them how to read.
Amen. What did I tell you? Did I tell you that this is going to be the most based governor in America?
What a hoot.
2 plus 2 doesn't equal transgender.
Transgender.
That ain't got no place at no school. 2 plus 2 don't equal transgender.
Are you taking notes?
Yeah. Fact checking, actually.
Okay.
It equals 4.
All right, well, Mark fact-checked it for you.
Gotcha.
You need to get back to teaching them how to read instead of teaching them how to go to hell.
Amen.
Yeah, I said it and I mean it.
Listen, I want to hear more from Mark. I do. Incredibly based. And you can already hear the left-wing hit pieces coming out for Mark Robinson. Now, one of the best parts about this is, it's going to be hard for the left to hurl accusations of racism against Mark. He's the current lieutenant governor in North Carolina. He's also a black man, and he seems to have the support of the black audience there in North Carolina. It seemed everybody in his acceptance speech behind him was African American and good. So take racism off the board, right? And he just won the primary. And he's going to be going up against Josh Stein, who won the Democratic primary in North Carolina. And I haven't heard much from Josh Stein. But, just looking at his picture, I feel like Mark Robinson's going to eat him for lunch. I do. So he'll face off against the Democrat Stein in November in a bid to replace Governor Roy Asbury Cooper, who is also a Democrat and is stepping down as governor because he's being term limited. A victory for Robinson in November will give the Republican Party a trifecta in the state because Republicans are already in control of North Carolina's legislature, as well as the opportunity to advance conservative agendas in North Carolina, like pro-life efforts, anti-grooming measures, and like many other states in the country. In 2021, Mark Robinson was attacked by the political left for taking a stand against transgender propaganda in school. He's no stranger to being attacked. And he's responded to the woke mob by making it clear that he would not succumb to leftists demanding that he resign for labeling the promotion of transgenderism and homosexuality in schools as filth. He said there's no reason anybody anywhere in America should be telling any child about transgenderism or any of that filth. And yes, I called it filth. And if you don't like that I called it filth, come see me and I'll explain it to you. I'm telling you, if Mark Robinson wins, he has the title as most based governor in the country. It's going to be a spicy, are you feel it? It's spicy season.
Oh, yeah, it's here.
This is what we've been waiting for. This is what we wanted to get through the primaries so that way we could engage in.
Yes.
Like the fire, my friends, the fire rises. I'm hype. Are you hype? Woo! 1021 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
She's out and she stopped short of endorsing former President Trump. We'll let you hear that at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It didn't take long. I said, the left would be coming for Mark Robinson, and 3455 on the Members Nutrition Super Text line sent me an article from The Guardian. Do you want to know what the headline says?
Yes, please.
Hitler quoting candidate wins North Carolina Republican gubernatorial primary. Ah! It's Black Hitler.
That's great.
Everybody run. Get out of here. This is Black Hitler. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sending that.
So it's already happened.
It's already happened. So I was late. Somebody, 9058 said at 10:19, they texted and said they'll still call him a Nazi and a racist. Watch. And then he just texted back at 10:25, said, Told you. Yeah, all right, you're right. Well, I don't know. Black Hitler seems pretty cool. What? That's what the Guardians called him. You know what I mean?
I'm following journalists' lead.
They're going to take that out of context. Somebody's going to take that out of context.
Yeah. That's not going to get blown out of proportion.
No. That's one of those things I'm like, probably shouldn't have said that. So, everybody liked that you chose to end on Mark Robinson and not on California.
See, yeah, ending on a good note. We didn't want to end on the pooped streets.
No.
Come on, man.
Nobody wants to end on poop streets.
No.
This is true.
Not even Californians.
No.
Not anymore.
No. That's Californians. Kudos to them. They say that a lot of people from Central America that are coming illegally are actually more conservative than the left appears them to be. And, they're allowed to vote in California. Maybe. It's too rabbit hole-y. Too rabbit hole-y. Everybody says they're going to report me to HR for the Black Hitler joke.
Hey, well, we haven't gotten a call from Dan Manis, so that shows you're trending in the right direction.
This is true. I'll let you know if he hits me up at 10:31.
Super dope.
So, yeah, they're going after Mark Robinson. Of course they are. Somebody who's unafraid and unapologetically himself and stands in his faith and speaks against the wokeness of the left and then, wins and keeps moving forward despite the attacks like Mark Robinson, who just won the North Carolina Republican primary for governor. Yes, they will attack him. I will say this about Mark Robinson. He doesn't seem to be worried. And honestly, I was looking through his opponent, Josh Stein. I was looking through his Twitter a moment ago. I wanted to see something from him and just kind of like hear his voice. I don't know about you. Does that tell you a lot about somebody?
Yeah, body language. Yeah, a little energy.
They sound weaselly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wanted to hear him. And I don't see anything promoting what he wants to do. Everything on his Twitter is anti-Mark Robinson.
Gotcha.
Basically, it's like, he's a right-wing extremist. We have to stop Black Hitler. That's what it is. that's like his platform, it looks like.
So, okay, yeah. Robinson's lieutenant governor, right?
Robinson is currently lieutenant governor in North Carolina.
And Josh Stein's the state attorney general.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Just catching up. Yeah, looks like it's gonna be really hotly contested.
It's gonna be spicy.
Yeah, that's gonna be come down to the wire.
I'm here for it. I really am.
Robinson got, a couple 100,000 or so more votes. I think I don't find it anymore, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to it.
This is gonna be fun. This is why I signed up for this job. This is like right now, the season that we're getting into. This is why I wanted to be here at Super Talk. Not many other jobs would I be able to say Black Hitler.
No. And still attain said job.
I feel like that would be frowned upon in many other industries. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Checking traffic. Looks like we still have some pothole repair to contend with. Rolling roadblock 24 eastbound right before Briley Parkway South. That's at exit 54. The right 2 lanes are blocked. Election 2024, Nikki Haley out, and she wishes Donald Trump well, but stops short of endorsing him.
It is now up to Donald Trump to earn the votes of those in our party and beyond it who did not support him. And I hope he does that.
Yeah, the RNC now declaring the former president the presumptive GOP nominee. Trump is leading Joe Biden in key swing states broadly on handling the economy, and Fed Chair Jerome Powell's prepared remarks before he goes to Congress today say that interest rate cuts will not happen until inflation is closer to the goal of 2%. And right now in Tennessee, a bill banning untrained service animals from being inside restaurants is moving forward, passing a full Senate floor. Fox 17, Senate floor vote, that is. Fox 17 saying some lawmakers say too many pet owners are calling their dogs service animals or emotional support animals when, in fact, they're not. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It is getting closer and closer to summer. We're officially in that part of the year where it's going to be chilly in the morning. You're going to kick your heat on to get the chill out of the air. And then it's going to be hot in the afternoon. You're going to kick on the AC. Well, if you haven't done it yet, it is time to get your system serviced the best way, the Busy Bee way, with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You don't want to be waiting for a problem to pop up this time of year. So be proactive and keep your unit in tip-top shape. Now, maybe you need that annual maintenance, or maybe you've been kicking the can on repairing or replacing your AC from last season. Well, time is running out. The heat is going to be here before we know it. So if you need to repair or replace that system, call who I trust, Busy Bee, because you're not going to find a better value on replacement systems. The guys at Busy Bee will offer up to 12 months with no payment, no interest, with approved credit. And if you're going to get that annual maintenance, it'll pay in so many ways to sign up for added rewards and savings by becoming a Beehive member. That'll get you that thorough annual maintenance on your plumbing, heating, and air systems. No overtime charges, 24/7, and 10% off all those repairs. It'll pay for itself to be a Beehive member. Don't forget, Busy Bee also has convenient Saturday availability for those maintenance calls, so they always have you covered. Busy Bee, they're your Rude Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833, or online at busybeehvac.com. (10:37) on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We were talking about Mark Robinson, who won the primary for the Republican gubernatorial candidate in North Carolina. And if you listen to his acceptance speech, you can understand that they're going to be coming after him.
Here's something else.
Quickly.
I'm not supposed to say. Ain't but two genders.
That's Mark Robinson.
Two genders. Ain't nothing but men and women. And I can already see WRL out there. They got they licking their pencils around, trying to write fierce as they can. Get every word of this here. Get every word of this. You can go to the doctor and get cut up. You can go down to the dress shop and get made up. You can go down there and get drugged up. But at the end of the day, you were just a drugged up, dressed up, made up, cut up, man or woman. You ain't changed what God put in you, that DNA.
So when you speak like that in your victory speeches, of course, you are going to get people coming after you. The Guardian already writing a hit piece on Mark Robinson. Hitler quoting candidate wins North Carolina Republican gubernatorial primary. The Guardian writing an article to say, hey, by the way, Mark Robinson is Black Hitler. So I thought maybe they wouldn't be able to play the race card, the racism. But of course, this is what we're seeing. Unbelievable. 1860 texted in, Chris, I'm a former Nashville resident now living in North Carolina. You're correct. This is going to be a nasty and close governor's race. It's going to be the more rural voters versus the libs in the cities. I love Mark Robinson. Well, I mean, you can tell it's going to be close the way they're already writing hit pieces on him. And they're calling him Black Hitler, essentially.
Yeah, so he came out with 64.8% of the vote amongst the Republicans, 663,000 votes. Josh Stein, almost 70% of the Democratic vote, but about 200,000 less total votes, 476,000.
Yikes. That's a little bit. Now, and he had 70% of the Dem vote.
Yeah, 70%, and Mark had about 65% of the Republican vote. But, I mean, there's, 360,000 votes that weren't for Mark Robinson in the Republican side. There's only, quick math, 100 and not even 200,000 votes that weren't for Josh on the Democrat side.
I didn't know people would support black Nazis like this. So scary. This is democracy's hanging by a thread in North Carolina, right? What are we going to do? I mean, listen, it's just crazy to me because all he's really doing is speaking the truth. That's it. And The Guardian says, Hitler quoting candidate wins North Carolina Republican gubernatorial race. Okay. It's Black Hitler, you guys.
You can't transcend God's creation. I don't care how hard you try. The transgender movement in this country, if there's a movement in this country that is demonic and that is full of the spirit of Antichrist, it is the transgender movement. It's time for grown-ups and time for Christians to start standing up and being unafraid to tell the truth. Come after me if you want to. I don't care. You want my head? Here it is right here. Come on, come get it. I don't care because it's time for us to stand up. And I'm not afraid to stand up and tell the truth about that issue. They're dragging our kids down into the pit of hell, trying to teach them that mess in our schools. Tell you like this, that ain't got no place at no school.
He's right. And it's not just school where kids are facing this kind of pressure from the transgender activists. You see it everywhere. In culture, in kids' shows. The latest Doritos controversy revolves around a trans brand ambassador. Have you heard this? Doritos had hired a transgender brand ambassador named Samantha Hudson. It was the brand ambassador for Spain. And they had to fire him already after one day. So over the weekend, Doritos in Spain announced that this transgender individual was their new brand ambassador for its products. And it included a 50-second promo called Crunch Talks that was put on YouTube. Now, this person gained prominence through a YouTube channel that would talk about beauty, travel, lifestyle. And on Monday, several Twitter users alerted Doritos to past posts published in 2015 from this transgender individual that were revolving around a 12-year-old. Yep. So the transgender brand ambassador for Doritos said, I want to do thuggish things to a 12-year-old girl. Yep, that's who they hire. And they don't do their homework on this. Now, Hudson said the post was meant to be funny. In another post, this transgender individual mocked sexual abuse survivors, which I'm not even going to read this for you because it's a bit too grotesque. According to the Daily Mail, after the outcry on social media where this person was joking and mocking about sexual abuse survivors, sexualizing children, and doing awful things in front of 8-year-old girls, Doritos was forced to fire this person. Doritos told Rolling Stone it would no longer work with Hudson, saying it had been unaware of previous inappropriate posts. Now, this is all after the Bud Light controversy took serious financial damage after they partnered with Dylan Mulvaney. How did Doritos and Pepsi not see this coming? Now, even if you're not going to do your research on an individual who's going to be a brand ambassador, that's bad. Like, it's kind of dumb. But why would they hire someone who is a trans ambassador just from a business standpoint after seeing what it did to Bud Light? It's just not smart. Just not smart. But companies, this is what companies do in 2024. They make ridiculously dumb decisions. Speaking of dumb decisions from companies, did you hear that Wendy's is reversing its course?
I did.
Surge pricing. Apparently, the surge was just about as strong as Nikki Haley's surge. So they said they were going to do surge pricing during dinner, right, and lunch, like during their main business hours.
Yeah.
Well, they said sorry.
Our bad.
They're not doing it. And now, in a way to kind of make up for that, in honor of March Madness, do you know what they're doing?
What?
We were just talking about this off the air, too, because it's like we were saying, fast food, we used to be able to justify eating fast food because it was cheap.
Yeah.
But now it's garbage and it's not cheap. If it was cheap garbage, it's one thing. Well, Wendy's got the memo, Mac. They're sorry about surge pricing, and now in honor of March Madness, they're selling cheeseburgers for $1 all month long.
Wow. Oh, that's pretty great.
You have to order it through the Wendy's app.
Classic.
Right?
I hate that.
The bait and switch.
McDonald's does that too.
Okay. You ever pull up to a McDonald's drive-thru and they're like, are you using the mobile app today?
Yeah.
It's like, no, bro. I'm using my car.
Yeah.
And I'm here at the drive-thru window.
No, yeah.
I don't want the Wendy's app.
No, I don't want the Wendy's app. I don't want the McDonald's app.
So this is their way of saying sorry and trying to lure people into downloading their app. Which honestly makes me more mad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, who are making these decisions?
Well, I saw when that decision came out that they were going to do the surge pricing. Burger King was like, great, we're going to go cheaper during those hours.
It just...
Yeah, don't do that.
No sense. So if you want $1 cheeseburger every day this month, then you have to get the Wendy's app.
Woo!
Yep. So $1 Dave's single, $2 Dave's double with the Wendy's app. And you need to order it on the Wendy's app. Not doing it.
Not doing it.
I'm so tired of these big companies.
Yeah.
Like, they make these decisions, and it's like, what are you thinking? Now, Wendy's was a dumb business decision. Doritos was an absolutely ridiculous brand decision. Completely different bad decisions, but bad decisions nonetheless. But do these guys just throw stuff against the wall and see what will stick?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what it feels like to the consumer, at least.
Like, they like float an idea out there and then, sorry.
Oh, yeah, forget that.
Actually, $1 cheeseburgers.
Yeah, exactly. But get the app.
I'm not downloading that app.
Nope.
Do you think that there should be like a rule against this? Like, are you discriminating against customers without a smartphone?
Yeah. Just, gosh, I mean, if so many people have smartphones, but yeah, I guess you could try and make that case. Some people don't, I'm sure. Sure, some of our listeners don't.
I'm gonna for Fry J with Matt Murphy.
Ooh, yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, that is a very good Fry J question.
We need that.
Yep.
I might call him on Wednesday and just, it's today. Like, can you get his number from Matt?
Yes.
Be like, it's unrelated to the show, but I have a legal question about Wendy's.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, he'll jump on it.
I feel like that's discriminatory practices.
Well, and all of them do it now.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
I don't like it.
No.
I want to be like, I don't have a smartphone as I'm fiddling, waiting for my order. So,
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Yep. 3425 said, now I have to stop eating Doritos with a crying face. Like, yep, you do. You do. Back to nacho cheese tortilla chips from, the generic brand aisle. 1506 said, Doritos are absolutely garbage. They're banned in many countries, along with a lot of our other food, as I'm pretty sure you know this. Yeah, it's because of the dyes and the processed ingredients. Most of our food, like, wouldn't clear the other stuff in the countries, the regulation. Yep, you're absolutely right. Everything's banned. That's why we have membersnutrition.com. Get that stuff out of there. 10:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey everybody, Dan Mandis here. Got my first shipment of emergency food from My Patriot Supply. Gonna make these pancakes. Now you prepare and cook them just like regular pancakes. But thanks to the special packaging, they last for 25 years. So when things go wrong, you are eating right with My Patriot Supply. And yes, they taste great. Now every week, I'm going to introduce you to different food. My Patriot Supply is America's most trusted supplier of emergency food. Head on over to my website, preparewithmandis.com, right now and see all the different foods that they have and all the great specials as well. That's preparewithmandis.com. Be prepared for anything with My Patriot Supply and preparewithmandis.com.
Pothole patching, rolling roadblocks. Right 2 lanes blocked, going to be 24 eastbound at the Antioch Pike overpass. Congratulations, but no endorsement in our election 2024 update. A new development in a Nashville murder case. Daylight saving time, health risks. These stories at more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Ken, why
Brother Chris.
Why does American Samoa have a presidential caucus if they can't, vote in a presidential election?
That is a good question.
Because, I see the headlines that Biden loses American Samoa.
Yeah.
It's his first Democrat caucus defeat of 2024. But I'm like, why are they wasting money doing that?
Well, you need to ask Brother Brian Wilson that question.
All right, I will.
Well, there's a lot we're going to ask Brian Wilson today.
Yeah. But why? Why? Mac, put that on your list of things to ask Brian. Okay?
Why?
Just why?
All right, so just thoughts on Black Hitler and American Samoa voting.
Yeah, so they're already after that. They're already after that guy running for governor, huh?
Oh my gosh, they are all over him.
Yeah.
Yeah, saw that coming.
Yeah.
Yep. The hit pieces write themselves,
Oh yeah.
Well, he did quote Hitler. I mean, he did.
What Hitler quote did he do?
It's on his Facebook. It was in 2014. Pride in one's own race, and that does not imply contempt for other races, is also a normal and healthy sentiment. I've never regarded the Chinese or the Japanese as being inferior to ourselves. They have the right to be proud of their past, just as we have the right to be proud of the civilization to which we belong.
I'm
not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying he did do that. Figured we'd read the quote since we talked about it for an hour.
Fair enough.
I figured we'd read it.
Fair enough.
Well, they're going to go after him for 2 + 2 = 4. That's what they're going to go after him for.
Yeah. He actually defended the post on his Facebook. He goes, oh, because I quoted Hitler, I support Hitler. I guess every history book in America supports Hitler.
Yeah.
They all quote him.
There is that.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be a fiery contest in North Carolina. That's one, I don't want to pay too much attention to state races that are outside of Tennessee. I'm watching that one.
Yeah.
That's must-see TV. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes, and let's get right to election 2024. Stephen Portnoy says Nikki Haley's officially out of the GOP primary.
Nikki Haley says she ran to ensure voters had a voice.
I have no regrets.
She congratulated her party's presumptive nominee and wished him well, but she also declined to endorse him.
It is now up to Donald Trump to earn the votes of those in our party and beyond it who did not support him. And I hope he does that.
Adding up all the votes cast in the GOP primaries and caucuses to date, Haley earned the support of more than 2.8 million voters, about 25%.
All right, Karen Travers continues her team coverage.
President Biden, in a statement, commends Nikki Haley, saying it takes a lot of courage to run for president, and she was, quote, willing to speak the truth about Trump. The president said there's a place for Haley's supporters in his campaign, writing, quote, I know there's a lot we won't agree on, but he says on things like preserving American democracy, treating each other with decency and respect, and preserving NATO, quote, I hope and believe we can find common ground. Mr. Biden called this, quote, no ordinary election, and says the stakes for the country couldn't be higher.
Right now in Nashville, there's a new development in the case of a woman found dead in a creek last week. Her car was missing until now. Officers are not saying where her car was located, but say it came from a citizen tip. 44-year-old Emily Bradley reported missing on February 21st and found dead days later in a creek along Buena Vista Pike near Hummingbird Drive. She had blunt force trauma to her head. Her family thinks she may have been a victim of domestic violence. Police say they continue working what they call active leads. Daylight saving time starts Sunday with its lost hour of shut-eye, and a new study finding the lack of sleep is linked to type 2 diabetes, increasing the risk 41% in people who only get 3 to 4 hours a night. It is 16% if you get more than 4 hours but less than 6 hours of sleep. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Learning a lot from last night's Super Tuesday results. The exit polls have been eye-opening, hopefully to Democrats. I mean, to Republicans, this is all stuff that we know. Exit polls in North Carolina and Virginia, Republicans say immigration is the top issue in the 2024 presidential election. Yeah, the border. So GOP voters went out in North Carolina, Virginia, and they said on the way out, immigration is their number one issue. In North Carolina, according to a CBS News exit poll, 43% of North Carolina Republican primary voters said their top issue is immigration, followed by 31% who said the economy is their top issue. Biden failing in both of those. In Virginia, where mass immigration has dramatically changed the state's demographics, the exit poll found that 37% of Republican primary voters said immigration is their number one issue. About 33% of Republicans in Virginia said the economy is their top issue. So you have these two states that are going to be key in November that could go blue, could go red, and the top issue in both, immigration. The second issue in both, economy. The exit polling comes as Republican voters in Iowa and New Hampshire also named immigration as their number one issue heading into the presidential election. Now, since Joe Biden took office, we've had more than 7 million illegal aliens across the border. That's the equivalent of about 2 years of U.S. births. Department of Homeland Security officials have privately said that about 85% of illegals arriving at the border are released into the U.S. interior via Biden's catch and release network. It's not shocking that people are waking up to this. Meanwhile, with the State of the Union tomorrow, the White House is refusing to say if Joe Biden will mention Laken Riley at the State of the Union. Now, Karine Jean-Pierre has been asked about her. She said it was sad, so sad, but she didn't mention Laken's name. Mayorkas was asked about her. He said only the murderer is to blame in this situation, not Joe Biden's administration, who released this man back into the interior of the country. And now the White House is refusing to say whether Joe's even going to mention the murder of the 22-year-old nursing student, Laken Riley, in the State of the Union address. Jim Banks, who's a Republican in Indiana running for United States Senate, called on Biden to name Laken Riley in the State of the Union address. He said, "You have a great opportunity to respect the wishes of Laken Riley's mother by breaking your silence and saying her name at the upcoming State of the Union address on Thursday." Of course he's not going to say her name. That would be admitting that there's an issue at the border. That's not something he wants to do. Will they blame Republicans for the issue at the border during the State of the Union? Of course they will. Of course they will. Now, Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about this by Peter Doocy.
Laken Riley's murder, allegedly at the hands of an illegal immigrant who was released by law enforcement multiple times on Thursday night. I know he's got a statement, but what about at the State of the Union?
Look, I do want, this is such a tragic story and obviously situation. This is someone's life that was lost, so I do want to always acknowledge and extend our deepest condolences to her family and to her friends and the people who loved her. And
now, she still hasn't said her name.
so want to always be sure to say that, and because it's so tragic. Look, I don't have anything to share about the president's speech as it relates to that particular question that you have, but we want to always be sure that we lift up the families who have lost their loved ones in that way. And I would reiterate, you just asked me about the Border Patrol chief. The president was just there with the current chief, Owens. The president went to the border, obviously Bronzeville, Texas, to lift up the importance of doing something at the border.
Yep, lift up the importance of doing something at the border. But again, she dodged the question. Biden has dodged the questions. Mayorkas said it was the murderer is the one responsible for this, not the administration. And they refused to say her name. They dance around it. It's infuriating. Last week, when Biden was in Brownsville, Texas, a reporter asked him, "Do you bear any responsibility for Laken Riley's death?" Biden just kept walking away. "Sorry, guys, not on my note cards. Can't answer that." It's sad, but it's no wonder why this is a top issue for Republicans and Americans. You know, I made the comment last night while we were at Nashville Palace. They said, are Democrats going to try and make abortion a big issue? I said, yeah, they're going to try, but when young female college students are more worried about whether or not they can go for a jog safely on a college campus, that's a far greater fear than whether or not they're going to be able to have an abortion down the road. Will they lean into abortion? Of course they will. Of course. But I don't think that it's going to play as well because of all of the other chaos and turmoil around the Biden administration and around the southern border. It's just not going to work. It's not. Abortion is tends to be a young voter issue. The older you get, the less likely you are to support something like that. But young people right now in this economy can't afford rent. They can't afford to buy a home. the Fed's talking about raising interest rates again. The southern border is wreaking havoc on this country. I find it, I don't think that abortion is going to be at the front of a lot of young voters' minds the way it would be if the economy was doing great and the southern border was secure. I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I know that the Democrats are going to try and use that to their advantage. But the border is just chaotic. And then you hear that Biden uses secretive flights to import illegal aliens into the U.S. from third countries. He just picks them up at the airport and flies them into the country. This is from a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit. It shows that the Department of Homeland Security imported about 320,000 illegal aliens to the United States last year through a little-known flight component of Biden's CBP One app. So they would basically have illegal aliens schedule appointments to be picked up and flown in. The app's flight component has flown additional hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens into 43 American airports last year alone. DHS officials refused to say which airports are being used, admitting that revealing such information poses operational vulnerabilities because bad actors would attempt to exploit the program. So, in short, the Biden administration uses a program to fly aliens over the border and directly into U.S. airports. That's what they do. Jim Jordan and Tom McClintock have asked DHS Secretary Mayorkas to release publicly a full numerical accounting of every illegal alien released by the agency into the United States interior since February 2021. But, Mayorkas refused to answer the request. This is why it's a top issue, because we see that the Biden administration doesn't do anything about it. They deflect and they ignore. And at the same time, Texas is stepping up to try and combat this, and the Biden administration sues them every chance they get. And then you see other states start to bear the brunt of the crisis, like Arizona and California. And the Democrats in power there don't do anything about it either. In fact, in Arizona, the Border Patrol Union is now slamming Governor Katie Hobbs, Democrat Governor Katie Hobbs, for saying that securing the U.S. border is anti-immigrant. Yep. So Monday, Katie Hobbs, who's a Democrat governor in Arizona, she vetoed a bill that would have criminalized illegal border crossings in the state. So my understanding is that this would be the same thing that Texas is attempting to do, where it's now a state crime, so that way they could arrest illegal immigrants. Katie Hobbs said she's vetoing it because it's anti-immigrant legislation. Of course, the Border Patrol Union criticized that decision, and they represent thousands of agents who are on the ground dealing with this firsthand. Arresting illegal aliens who crash the border illegally is deemed anti-immigrant by Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs, the BPU wrote. Let that sink in for a moment. Elon Musk responded to that tweet saying politicians will not expel likely future voters. Just a matter of incentives. It's unreal. So Hobbs released a video explaining her decision and then pressed a veto stamp on the bill. She said, anti-immigrant legislation to score cheap political points has no place in our state. The same state who is now being overrun by illegal aliens to the point where they're running out of money to be able to help them and are just mass releasing them into the country. She said, this bill does not secure our border. On the contrary, it will be harmful for communities and business in our state and a burden for law enforcement personnel. Hobbs went on to acknowledge the fact that Arizonans are feeling frustrated due to the Biden administration's failure to solve the crisis, but claimed that this was not the solution. Those of the Border Patrol Union weren't the only people to go after Hobbs. There was many who were stepping up to go after her. In fact, A Republican state senator and one of the bill's sponsor, Janae Shamp, said in a statement, this legislature did its job to protect our citizens. Governor Hobbs failed to do hers. Vetoing the Arizona Border Invasion Act is a prime example of the chaos Hobbs is unleashing on our state while perpetuating this open border crisis as Biden's accomplice. Arizonans want and deserve safe communities. Our local, county, and state law enforcement officers are pleading for help, and they support this legislation to protect our citizens. Their blood, sweat, and tears shed while trying to keep our communities safe from the staggering number of border-related crimes hitting our state will not be in vain. This veto is a slap in the face to them. Arizona's victims of border-related crimes and other citizens who will inevitably feel the wrath of this border invasion in one way, shape, or form at the hands of Hobbs and Biden. Katie Hobbs has been an absolute train wreck for Arizona. Absolute train wreck. And you see all of these sanctuary cities being overrun by illegal aliens. You see the blue states being overrun by illegal aliens. Because for whatever reason, the Democrats don't want to do anything about it. Oh, yep, the reason is new voters, right? That's what it comes down to. New voters. That's always what it comes down to, right? It's just mind-blowing. And then Democrats are surprised when the exit poll shows that the border is the number one issue on the ballot heading towards November. It needs to get fixed. It really does. When, though? When? It's frustrating. How many American citizens need to be affected by this before it becomes a big issue to the politicians? It's already a big issue to the voters. But how long until it's a major issue for these left-wing politicians? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. 615-737-9986 is the Members Nutrition text line number and the phone number if you want to weigh in on this. Sally on the Members Nutrition text line said, I bet the illegals get triple frequent flyer miles. Probably. In fact, a lot of the illegals that come in, they don't have identification. They ditch it at the border. They get their processing paperwork, and then on a lot of these flights that they get put on the boarding pass, it says, no name given. No name given. Yeah. Honestly, that's what happens. They don't have to wait in security like you and I either. They get a special line. You know, a lot of people do the known traveler number, the KTN, so you get to go in a fast lane. It's essentially what illegal aliens get at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport in Arizona. You know, and then they wonder why people are like, Trump says mass deportations, and American citizens are like, yes, please. We're tired of this crap. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Pothole patching, rolling roadblock in Antioch, 24 eastbound, right before Haywood Lane. Federal transportation safety investigators getting impatient with Boeing. You got to hear it coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 11:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, if there's one thing that I know our listeners love, it's rolling pothole repair on 24. It's the best.
Music to my ears.
Yeah, exactly what people like. Did you see the new study that electric vehicles are actually releasing more emission than their gas-powered counterparts?
Oh, wow.
Yep. So this study conducted by Emission Analytics suggests that electric vehicles actually release more emissions than their gas-powered counterparts because they're heavier and the tires and the brake pads produce more pollutants into the air. That's what Emission Analytics found. They said that the biggest polluters on the vehicles are tires, and heavier cars produce more emissions because they cause the tires to wear down faster. So since electric vehicles weigh, on average, 30% more than gas-powered cars because of the batteries, they end up being worse for the planet than previously thought. This is always what these green climate change activists don't understand. It's the land of unintended consequences. So, you know, like it always kills me. You know, we gotta get rid of paper bags to save the trees. You know, you were probably a little bit young for that push. You probably missed that.
Man, I think I remember that. Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah, well, now we have plastic polluting everything.
Exactly. Yeah, now we got plastic. Yeah.
So turning the frogs gay. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, according to this study, you compare tailpipe emissions to that from tire wear, and tire wear is around 1,850 times greater of a pollutant. And it increases when drivers are more aggressive with braking and accelerating. The excess emissions under aggressive driving should alert us to a risk with battery electric vehicles, this study wrote, explaining that greater vehicle mass and torque delivered can lead to rapidly increasing tire particulate emissions. Half a ton of battery weight can result in tire emissions that are almost 400 times greater than real-world tailpipe emissions, everything else being equal. So the electric vehicles are actually causing more pollution. Isn't that crazy? And they want us all driving these things. In an interview with the New York Post, this EA, Emission Analytics founder and CEO, Nick Molden, said that while the data is startling, it will not be something that stops electrification. No, that'll be consumers that stop that, I would think.
Bingo.
He admitted that while EVs do deliver about a 50% reduction in CO2, which impacts climate change, the downside is they increase particle pollution via the toxic chemicals in the tires. Air pollution is about what we breathe and the health effects, he explained, noting that this has a more immediate impact on what we're ingesting compared to the emissions from gas-powered cars. So, feel really good about your electric vehicle, huh? Sure you do. I'm looking at Teslas now. I'm giving them a dirty look.
Batting a mean eye at Elon Musk.
I'm looking at you, Elon. saving democracy, right? With free speech on Twitter, destroying the planet with your cars. It's a double-edged sword, you know? What do we do?
2889 on the Members Nutrition Super Text line says it's not emissions, it's about controlling your life.
Yep, fair. So they can shut off your electric car.
Yep.
They can turn that right off. I thought this was fascinating, though. It's they always scream that we need to clean the environment as they fly off to Davos in their private jet, and now we see this study where it's like, no, actually, your electric vehicle is doing far worse to the environment than my gas-powered car. Right? Shocker. Who could have seen this coming? Unreal. This is what the left does. They scream and yell about something, and then they end up being wrong. Shocker, right? Totally shocking. 615-737-9986. 5201 said, that's the way it goes. Everything the government does or pushes has the opposite effect. Try this one. Public school system. Try this one. Public school system is making kids dumber. Well, yeah, but that's by design too. It is. As I mentioned this the other day, even Sesame Street's been dumbed down. Seriously, watch an episode from the original Sesame Street from the 70s.
And watch it now.
Tell me that's the same show.
Interesting.
This is what you do when you have kids. You'll get there. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes and election 2024. Rachel Scott says Super Tuesday exit polling suggests a small but not insignificant percentage of voters are questioning who to support with Nikki Haley gone.
Many Nikki Haley supporters say they will not commit to supporting Donald Trump in November. Many of them say they will not even commit to supporting him, especially if he is convicted of a crime. We know the former president is facing 91 criminal charges, still pushing ahead here with this race and this likely matchup with President Biden in November.
Right now in our nation's capital, federal safety investigators telling Congress they're getting impatient since that Alaska Airlines jet door blew off midair.
Boeing has not provided us with the documents and information that we have requested numerous times over the past few months, specifically with respect to opening, closing, and removal of the door, and the team that does that work at the Renton facility.
As National Transportation Safety Administration Chair Jennifer Homendy at a Senate Commerce Committee hearing today. And that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Mac Maury producing. Are you seeing this thing that Steven Crowder just posted on Twitter?
Man. Pretty scary.
So just to be fair, Steven Crowder posted something on his Twitter, which I retweeted. You can find it at Chris Hand on air. About the Tennessee Office of Homeland Security issuing an officer safety bulletin to multiple state law enforcement agencies in response to bomb threats targeting Trump supporters. Okay, so obviously, this isn't confirmed yet, right? Steven Crowder put it out. I think that it definitely holds a lot more weight because Crowder is the same guy who leaked the Nashville transgender shooter manifesto. So he has sources, right? He has sources within these departments. I think that's been clearly established. So he posted this on Twitter. Officer safety awareness. Unclassified, law enforcement sensitive for official use only. Law enforcement safety concern related to a subject making concerning statements about constructing a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. The Tennessee Office of Homeland Security is distributing this officer safety bulletin to Tennessee and surrounding states' law enforcement agencies regarding one Benjamin Matthew Dayton. On February 29, 2024, the Federal Bureau of Investigation Memphis Field Office notified the Tennessee Office of Homeland Security of a Guardian incident report indicating that Dayton made concerning statements to his mother via text message. One of the messages stated, "Have been thinking an awful lot about rigging my van and bombing Trump supporters." An initial investigation revealed that Dayton has experienced suicidal and homicidal ideations and also mentioned trying to obtain a firearm. Initial investigation has also revealed that Dayton has an active order of protection issued in Waukegan, Illinois. Dayton's criminal history indicated previous arrests for public drunkenness and domestic battery incidents. According to the subject's parents, he suffers from unspecified mental health diagnoses. Dayton has several addresses associated with him in the Memphis, Shelby County area. At this time, the subject is believed to be transient and has no known address. Dayton is believed to be operating a tan in color 1995 Chevrolet G20 passenger van bearing Illinois license plates. His vehicle pictured was captured on flock cameras in Shelby County as recently as 2/28/2024. Law enforcement personnel should exercise caution if contact is made with Dayton and or his vehicle. No detention of the above subject vehicle should be made solely based on this bulletin. This information is provided to increase situational awareness and advise law enforcement agencies of the potential officer safety concerns related to the subject of this bulletin. If Dayton and or his vehicle are observed or contacted, please notify special agents with Tennessee Office of Homeland Security by phone or email. That's wild. Is that not wild? Now, again, Steven Crowder posted this. I'm not sure of the authenticity, but I do think this holds a lot more weight considering we know he has contacts in these offices because he's the guy that leaked the Nashville shooter manifesto to the public, right? Like, so his contacts in law enforcement are established. This doesn't seem far-fetched, right? Somebody with mental health issues wanting to do something like this. And of course, this seems to be based upon a message to his mother via text. He hasn't committed any crimes, right? But they put a picture of him in his vehicle in an official officer safety awareness drop. I don't know how often these things are you know what I mean? Like, coming from outside the law enforcement world, how often does this kind of stuff get shared?
Yeah.
Is this a regular occurrence? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's something that I'm kind of wondering about too.
Now, this is dangerous. This shouldn't be happening. And of course, they call Trump supporters domestic terrorists. But here you see an official warning, allegedly, from the Tennessee Office of Homeland Security, warning officers in Tennessee regarding one Benjamin Matthew Dayton. Check it out. Take a look. Keep your eyes open. It's on my Twitter if you want to go find it, at Chris Hand on Air. One of the guys that follow me that listens to the station shared it with me. Shout out to him. But this is not shocking. Is it weird that we live in America where this doesn't even... Does this surprise you in any way? It doesn't seem to surprise me. Mental illness with a vast media network demonizing Trump supporters as radical extremists and domestic terrorists. It wouldn't shock me that somebody who's not completely with it would be driven to this kind of stuff. Right? But I want you to, if you're listening to this, I want you to go take a look at this. At Chris Hand on Air on Twitter. Steven Crowder posted it. I just retweeted it. I think that if you're driving around and you see that, maybe you should make a call. Let somebody know. Because that's dangerous stuff, man. You're targeting people because of their political affiliation. It's not shocking, but it is something that you should keep your head on a swivel. And again, hasn't been confirmed. Steven Crowder put this out around 10 a.m. This is the first I've heard of it. And, I'm kind of reacting to it in real time.
Yeah, Crowder claims on the website here that the Officer Safety Bulletin was issued this report by the Memphis office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation February 29th. So that would have been, a week ago?
Yep.
Yeah.
So maybe they've already found this guy?
Maybe.
And talked to him?
Maybe.
But it's just amazing to me that the media will smear Trump supporters as right-wing extremists and domestic terrorists and threats to democracy, and then something like this will be flown under the radar as an actual threat, politically motivated, mind you, because you can't say it's not politically motivated when the threat is to bomb Trump supporters.
Yeah, it's directly politically motivated.
Directly. Now, I'm also not painting with a broad brush, and I don't think that anybody that votes Democrat is an unhinged maniac. Clearly, this person, Benjamin Dayton, his mother says that he has mental health issues. You know what I mean? It just, I don't think the mainstream media realizes, and a lot of the thought leaders in the Democrat Party realize what they're doing when they demonize Trump supporters as right-wing extremists and domestic terrorists. Like, we're the biggest threat to democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody that's unhinged and watches CNN all day sees it as a call to action. It's crazy, man. 2024 is about to be wild.
Yeah, Dayton has a history of, quote, suicidal and homicidal ideations. Mentioned trying to obtain a firearm. Yeah. That's frightening.
Yeah, and it's tough to gain a lot from just such a short blurb. Like, what does a history of homicidal and suicidal ideations mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's extremely vague.
It's almost too vague. And they also say that this information is provided to increase situational awareness and advise law enforcement agencies of potential safety concerns related to the subject of this bulletin. But that, no detention of the above subject or vehicle should be made solely based on this bulletin. So it's not a warrant for his arrest or anything like that. This is just hey guys, heads up, if you run into this guy, be careful. Again, I don't know how often these officer safety awareness bulletins are dropped. Is this a regular occurrence? If somebody in law enforcement has any idea, drop me a text on the Members Nutrition text line, 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986, because I'd like to know. right? Is this normal?
Yeah.
Is this standard operating procedure? You know what I mean? That's kind of what I want to know. Yeah, I haven't seen anything on the super text line from any law enforcement guys that listen. Have you?
No. Nope.
Yeah, if you're listening and you're in law enforcement, let me know. 615-737-9986. Because this seems like it's a big story on its face, but is it? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not a warrant for his arrest.
Nope.
They're not saying detain him just because of this. They're just saying keep an eye out. Right? Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
No detention of the above subject or vehicle should be made solely based on this bulletin. So they're not saying bring him in.
But be aware, I guess.
It just seems...
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that is just for law enforcement. Like, hey, if you see this car, you see these tags, I don't know. Yeah,
Well, it also,
interesting.
but that doesn't mean like that makes me think that they don't think it's as credible of a threat.
Yeah. Well, because if they thought it was credible,
they would have to take him off the streets.
Oh, they would. Yeah, we see it.
Quickly.
Yeah, we see it I won't say every week, but I mean certainly every month here.
Yeah.
Bomb threats. If they're credible, they're found and they're taken care of.
Yeah. And I also will say this. Shout out to his mom.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Being the one to turn him in.
Well, and that's what makes me think, okay, well, then maybe there is some legitimacy to the mental health. I mean, if your mother really sees that text and goes, okay, that's actually concerning. Because your son.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that adds to the legitimacy of the threat.
Because if you got a text like that from someone, a lot of people could be like, oh, okay. Like, LOL, that's funny. They're angry.
Yeah, what a nut.
Yeah, what a crazy guy. But it's like, no.
Yeah, his mom is
His mom's
contacting.
like, seriously.
Yeah, Memphis field offices of FBI. Like, that's a step above, right?
Yeah, that's not just like a call 911.
So, if you haven't seen this, hop on my Twitter at Chris Hand on Air. You can check it out for yourself. That way, you can keep your head on a swivel as well. Again, the legitimacy of this has not been confirmed. But the fact that Steven Crowder put it out, and I know that he has those contacts in these departments, makes me think that this is the real deal. It's 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:55 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris Hand joined in studio by Matt Murphy. What up, Matt?
What's happening, Mr. Hand? How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I recall someone making a prediction that Nikki Haley was getting out of the race very soon after Super Tuesday. I think all of us really did.
Brian Wilson.
No, Brian was big on the Michelle Obama thing, which I was saying too. Wilson was giving me no credit for it. No credit.
I feel like, you ever see that episode of South Park where they're like, Simpsons did it? I feel like with you, I'm just going to start doing Wilson did it.
It was a great event last night. Thanks to all of you for coming out, those of you who did.
That was so much fun.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous time.
Yeah,
always good to catch up with everybody.
And we've been harassing Mac and Bell for you guys behind the scenes.
It's a crying shame that so many people ask about Mac Morey. So many people wanted to see. I mean, how many cougars came up to me and wanted some chow? And there was no chow for them. I said, there's no chow for you.
It's a chow-free event.
You can have some guacamole and chips, but no chow, no cougar chow here because he chose not to come. What did you do instead?
Next time we'll see if we can get some chow on the menu.
I don't know that. I think that's non-responsive to the question asked. Your Honor, if I may, I'm going to repeat the question. What was on the Mac Morey agenda last night that was so crucial, so important that you could not be with our faithful listeners?
I can answer this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was watching sports.
Bingo.
That's true.
He was watching sports.
Watch some ball. Hung out with the fiance.
I have you guys want a conspiracy theory?
Ooh.
I have a conspiracy theory.
Oh, wait,
for
one
you.
second.
And you're in on it.
Oh,
you're
all
part
right.
of it.
That's my favorite kind of conspiracies.
I'm about to put two and two together here. So,
right.
And this is a conspiracy theory inspired by Chris Hand.
Those are my favorite kind.
So Chris Hand's like, hey, Cookie Monster, right?
Yep.
Cookie Monster's upset about the cookies. Joe Biden is all on top of the cookies. And Chris Hand is doing a deflection earlier today because Hand's like, ooh, PBS. So PBS is in on this, and it's a Joe Biden PBS Cookie Monster joint. When
They're
in fact,
funded by the government.
when
right?
in fact, I happen to know that Sesame Street is now no longer broadcast on PBS.
Oh.
It's broadcast on Max, which Chris Hand several days ago admitted that he had in his own home.
Oh, no.
So I would suggest to you.
They gave it to me for free. AT&T did.
That's how it goes, right? First little taste for free.
They were pumping those subscriber numbers.
First taste is free.
They got an investor report.
That's how the dealers do it.
They had to juice those numbers.
And Hand has allowed the monster in his home. You've allowed the monster in your home. And I don't know if the monster is the cookie variety of the Biden variety.
They don't do it on PBS anymore?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
I think HBO or HBO Max bought it.
Only.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'll tell you what.
It's a shame.
The episode from the 70s.
A lot smarter.
They have dumbed it down.
I think you're thinking of the electric company.
No, I'm not. I assure you.
And Hand.
Conspiracy. Conspiracy.
We're going to get into the Cookie Monster conspiracy on the Murphy Show.
I love it.
And maybe some election results. Who knows?
Yeah. Trump won.
That's what I hear.
That's what.
Big victory. Jim Psaki not happy.
No. All right. We'll talk about it. Matt Murphy's on his way in next. Hang out with him. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.